welcome to the channel. My name is Dave, and this is Blindman Overland. And this is basically just my corner of the internet where I post random stuff about my truck. Sounds very rednecky, but hey, that's what we're going for today. Yeah, we're here in Mission Overland headquarters in Lacombe, Alberta. So thanks again, Mark, for letting me use the shop space to do this again. Today, what we're going to do is just kind of go through the truck. And I'm going to try to do it as in-depth as I can, in as small a time frame as I can. But I've got everything opened up just so you guys can kind of see exactly how it would normally look out in the wild. And it's going to be really fun. So stick around. For those of you who have been asking questions, I'm going to try to address them here. I didn't write them down, so I'm kind of going off memory. But I appreciate you guys if you hit that like and subscribe button before we get started here, and we'll go right ahead and do it. First upgrade that this thing saw this year was actually a brand new AGM battery. So I'm running a MotoMaster Eliminator AGM. It's specifically engineered and designed for vehicles that have high electrical loads, like high electrical demands, so like things like fire trucks, ambulances, stuff like that. That's what's sitting in there. We used to use them on the rig a lot, or on the rigs, out on our trucks, skid steers, anything that's got to start in brutal cold weather that has a lot of accessories attached to it. That's the battery to go with. So I picked up that bad boy. That was an expensive one, and then I just kind of wired everything up to it. There is something that's going to be going into this thing right away, though, and that is the S-Pod 6 rocker switch system that I got donated to the channel. We're going to do a whole specific video on that where I'll go through the details of installing it. We might even have to make up some fab brackets, so there might be some fun DIY stuff to do there. But we'll get into that a little later. I'm super stoked about it, but we're going to dedicate a whole video to it. So the truck itself is a 2013 Nissan Frontier 4x4 off-road package, whatever the heck that gives you from the dealership. I don't exactly know. So there's been some things that we did to it very recently that you might not have seen on any videos yet, because I don't think I've posted any videos with the new bumper. So we did upgrade. We did the whole front bumper chop, and we went with the Coastal Off-Road High Clearance Generation 2 front bumper. It is a flat pack, which came kind of in a small saran wrap package of steel, and then the boys over at New Fab Fabrications and Coatings here in Lacombe fabbed it up and coated it up for me, and it looks hella fresh. I really like it. I really dig the clearance that I get right now. And then you'll also notice that the tires are pretty aggressive because we did switch to brand new tires. So we are still running the Toyo Open Country MTs. That's what we're running right now. I just like the tire. It's a great tire. It really proved itself to me both on the Four Corners Expedition and on the various trails that we hit after before I got the tires swapped over. Just even with nominal tread left, it did exceptionally well on some areas where I really needed it to do well. So I've upgraded the ditch lights to a set of Bright Source LED pods. I believe they're the 6 LED pod per side. They are incredibly, they're really good, man. They're comparable in performance and size and shape to the rigids that you're gonna buy, but I think they're about 170 bucks a piece for a kit for 2. Sorry, not a piece, obviously. But these ones are a hell of an upgrade, and I'm really liking them so far. So Bright Source, you can get these at Raven Truck Accessories in Red Deer if you want. That's where Jason works. And then the roof rack. So since the last time I did this video would have been last March, right before COVID hit, I had a very tall, I just basically had a sport rack. And it was just the sport rack that you can buy at any Canadian Tire. It was very tall. It's a universal fit. And I kind of just shaved it down and made it work because that's what I had available to me. I did, early in the summer, upgrade to a platinum rack. So it's just a platinum roof rack. It's got the ratchet style arms that kind of tuck into your door sills and ratchets it tight. And just as an added extra length of security, as you guys probably know, I don't have really an issue with modifying my body at all. So to make sure that those stay and that I'm not going to be losing a roof rack in any sort of conditions, basically to beef it real up, is I've permanently attached them to the sides of the truck as well, just using a standard small rivet. So I just drill the hole right through it, rivet it up, siliconed around it, and then spread a little seal sealer on it. And then on top of that, I've got a very old style rigid LED 24-inch light bar that I got from my little brother off of his truck when he bought it. And then the rack itself is just a Princess Auto cargo rack that I've cut the sides off of. Cut them down, recoated it, and threw it on top there with the same mounting hardware that it comes with from the store. And that just keeps the profile really low. I like clean lines. I don't like it when things are sticking up out of all of nowhere. One, just kind of gives me a better mind's eye when I'm on the trail and there's low-hanging branches and stuff. If I know what's up there and what can get knocked off, it just makes me feel a little bit better. And I like I said, I like the lower profile. I don't like a lot of wind noise. And so yeah, so that's sitting on top. And then the valence, like where the actual valence is, that's just the exact same valence that you're going to get from the basket itself from Princess Auto. You're going to get that. And I just basically modified some brackets to make it sit at a 45-degree angle from the truck and cut a hole in the center so that my light bar would work. But it turned out really well, and there's a little bit of weather seal and sea seal on the top so that it doesn't rub up against the window, rub up against the roof. And yeah, I'm super stoked about it right now. What else did we do? Oh, that's right. Okay, so earlier this summer, we launched our first product. Now, it's still kind of in its trial period, let's say. So I had the prototype rack that I just kind of fabbed up real quick using some spare parts in my shed, and that lasted for like a whopping year. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that rack today. I could put it on the truck tomorrow and use it as I did before. But we took that design and we improved on it, and we came up with the Blindman Overland Tack Rack Gen 2. So this rack is exceptional. It is a bolt-on rack though, so it does require you to bolt through your side rails of your truck. But if you're running even some of the old style tonneau covers or side rails, you've already done that. So it bolts virtually right up to the side of the truck, almost using the exact same mounting spacing that you're going to find in a standard box rail, which is kind of cool. So if you need the exact measurements, if you guys are thinking of picking one up, just message me and I'll give you the actual measurements so you can double check on your truck. It looks a lot cooler. It's powder coated in a high density black, but the main thing is that it stays at least, it's about 16 inches off the top of your bed, which allows you to use a roll-up tonneau cover like a Tuxedo or a Goat, depending on whatever soft roll-up tonneau cover you have. If it's the kind that gives you the side rails and they bolt to the side of the truck, you can use that tonneau cover with this rack system. I guarantee it. And then underneath I've got an axe and a shovel that's mounted up under there. That stays under there full time. Just I like having some recovery gear, and I'm usually out in the bush chopping wood, so when I'm camping, so that's why that's there. And then underneath there I also have a fire extinguisher tucked away in the corner, because you should always have a fire extinguisher in your vehicle, even if it's just your daily driver vehicle. It's a good thing to have inside your vehicle. And then underneath that, so that is that's supporting a Smitty-built Overlander rooftop tent. I think that's just the Overlander rooftop tent. And it's the two-person rooftop tent, and it's a really, really good tent actually. So if you can pick one of these up, you can usually pick them up fairly cheap right now, like I did. I picked that guy up for $600 out of Calgary. And it was virtually new when I got it, and it's even got the LED strip light and everything in there, and that thing has kept me high, dry, and comfortable in all sorts of weather conditions, including winter camping all last season, and probably going to be some of this season as well. Crawling underneath there, so underneath the tonneau cover, we just have your standard Nissan Frontier box. It's pretty straightforward. It's a 5.5 foot box. It's got the Nissan plastic bed liner, which I prefer because I just like that everything slips and slides on them real nice. You can kind of just throw things back there and nothing's going to get caught or wedged. Then I have my old Rat Pack drawer that I had in my old work truck in there that's just cut down so that it fits in the size of the box that I have it. And then beside that, I've got my drawer slide. So I just built a really crude slide so that when I'm hucking firewood and stuff inside my truck, I can kind of just slide it forward and grab the firewood. Or if I was running the fridge, I used to run the fridge in there as well. That's another thing that we also upgraded. We also ended up buying a fridge this year. The expedition that we went on, the Four Corners expedition of Alberta, where we basically went to as far as you can drive in each four corners of Alberta, as far as the roads would take you. We just went to go see what was up. So yeah, after the Four Corners expedition, I kind of realized that I was throwing out meat, and I really don't like throwing out meat. So I did upgrade to the LP Cool 30-liter fridge freezer. It's not a dual zone, it's just a single zone, but that's fine. It fits real perfectly just behind the seat of my truck. which is sitting on kind of a platform pantry that I built. I recycled the old pantry, recoated it in a carpet, and then basically cut a hole in it so I could set a fridge right behind my seat, which just plugs into a 12-volt auxiliary back there that's running a little accessory so I can plug in multiple devices at a time. And then in the center there, so sitting right beside that, I've got a Rugged Ridge Mole panel. So the Rugged Ridge Mole panel right now on Amazon you can pick up for about $179 Canadian. It was a lot cheaper than that when I bought it. I don't know if it was because of some mix-up on Amazon part or on Rugged Ridge's part, but what ended up happening is I ended up paying about 45 bucks for it. And then last time I linked to it to show someone, I realized the price had shot up. So I was like, oh man, someone must have got fired or something at Rugged Ridge for that kind of mistake. So needless to say, I would still pay full pop for it. I think it's a really valuable thing. It gives you a whole bunch of pouches that you can put in. I've got one for my flashlight, a spot for my bear spray. I've got some compasses in there, some fire starter. I've got some extra gloves, some paracord. I've got a naloxone kit. I've got an extra trauma kit inside there. Sharpening stone, so a whole bunch of stuff that just doesn't have to be sitting around the truck. It gets to sit nicely in there. Sits nice in the center. It doesn't take up Zeus's space, which is kind of important because the back seat's kind of Zeus's space. And I've already taken his seat away permanently now because I did do a rear seat delete, so I pulled the small folding seat right out. It's really easy to do. It's actually only 2 bolts. And pulled it right out of there and sauced in that little spot there. Oh, and then underneath I've also got like some cookware, so I've put a little porthole there with some patches by it where I can reach in and grab like my pots, my pans, kitchen stuff, my LED camp light, and so yeah, really stoked about that too. I know I'm really stoked about a lot, I guess. I just like really stoked. That's really what I say. It's kind of what I do. And then I also got some really cool, shout out to Rick from Big Blue Sky Overland because he's a good buddy of mine and he hooked me up with some Blindman Overland headrests. So those are pretty cool. Really like those. They come with little pockets behind it so I can keep throw my radio behind there and I can still hear it. And then when I need it, I just grab it and call out. So real handy, really like it. And then I've also got like a full, so I did a whole, earlier this fall, I took all my winter camping stuff out and put all my all my summer camping stuff out and put all my winter camping stuff in. So I pulled out a lot of the creature comforts that you would have at a campsite and replaced them with more recovery gear. Some extra clothing, a whole winter set, toque, mitts, just a whole bunch of stuff, sleeping bag that stays in the truck at all time. And then I've also got my go bag. If you don't know what a go bag is, a go bag is just a bag that is packed with stuff in it, like food, basically enough stuff in there that if you get abandoned out in the cold, your car breaks down on the side of a sketchy highway where there's nobody for miles, you have 24 to 48 hours worth of supplies in that bag. Like a knife, I guess, whatever you want to throw in there. A knife, fire starter, some food. I think I've even got a small shelter, a bivvy in there in case I decide to wander away and I get lost. Some pen launchers, a can of mace. So I got a little bag in there so that if I need to, I can just grab it and go. All right, guys, so wheels and suspension. So on the Frontier, I'm running a pretty basic lift kit. I've got the 1.5-inch add-a-leaf from Ready Lift added to the back leaf pack, and that's just kind of got some the Bilstein 5100 suspension that the Pro 4X usually comes with. Some guy put them on the back of this thing, so I didn't have to do that, so that was kind of cool. And then on the front, I've just got the Daystar spacer lift in there, so it's technically just a leveling kit. So it gives me about 2 inches of lift, and then the upgraded tires gives me about another inch. So there is plans eventually to go with a full kit. I'm just kind of weighing my options on the Titan swap versus just sticking to the standard aftermarket stuff for the Frontier. And then brands, and I'm not too sure yet. I got to figure it all out. That's going to be probably after everything gets back to normal anyway. But yeah, and then wheels and suspension. The wheels are just the American Outlaw Casinos. I did do the research finally. I'm pretty sure that's what they are. They're the American Outlaw Casinos. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the series that these are. And then the Toyo Open Country MTs 285. So they're a 33-inch tire, 33-ish. And my truck doesn't have any problems pulling them. I do have a little bit of rubbing when I'm at full flex coming in, but that's on the rear. So once I get my alignment done, which I'm just, as I said, I'm debating on doing some upper control arms right now because I got to do some ball joints, but I'll just bring my toe out a little bit, and that should pretty much solve that clearance problem, no problem. And then on the front, obviously, because of the bumper, I'm not gonna rub it all. I got tons and tons of clearance there. And yeah, that's it. That's my Overland truck in a nutshell.